is Mrs. Barrett, and welcome to the world of band. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about the different instruments you get to pick from. You will be able to pick the flute, the clarinet, the alto saxophone, the French horn, the trumpet, the trombone, or the baritone for your 6th grade year. The first instrument we're going to talk about is the flute. This is a flute, and the way I hold it is I hold it like this with my hands on the keys, and I blow over the head joint right here, just like this. And that's the flute. This is a clarinet. Clarinets are also part of the woodwind family, just like the flutes. These actually have a piece of wood on them, a little reed right here. I blow into the top, and the air vibrates against the reed, and that's what makes the sound. I have keys, just like the flute, but these are actually holes that I have to cover with my fingers. And it sounds like this. And that's the clarinet. This is an alto saxophone. Very similar to the clarinet, it's part of the woodwind family, and it has keys much like the same as the clarinet. In fact, a lot of the fingerings, where you put your fingers for each note, are the same as the clarinet. This also has a reed on the back of the mouthpiece, and when the air hits that reed, it vibrates to create a sound. And that's the saxophone. Next, we're going to move on to the brass family. This is a trumpet, one of the higher instruments in the brass family. It has a small mouthpiece on the end that looks like this. It's like a tiny little cup. And to play this instrument, you're going to make a buzzing sound into this mouthpiece. When it's not connected to the instrument, this is what it sounds like. Pretty funny, right? But when we connect it to the rest of the instrument, that's what gives it its sound. Now, a trumpet has valves, and we push these down in order to change the valves, which in turn changes the sound. And that's the trumpet. Our next instrument is the French horn. This is the second instrument in the brass family that's a high brass instrument, as well as the trumpet. So just like the trumpet, it has 3 valves, but these valves look just a little bit different. It also has the same mouthpiece. So the mouthpiece on a French horn is a little bit smaller than the trumpet, you can see here, but it still has the same cup shape. So when I blow into it with a buzz, it sounds like this. Sounds really silly, huh? But when I attach it to the instrument, it actually sounds beautiful. What's really cool about the French horn too is that I actually use my right hand inside the bell, and I can change the way that it sounds, I can change how loud it is, I can change intonation just by using my right hand. This is a pretty tricky instrument, so if you're interested in French horn, you better be prepared to work hard. And that's the French horn. Our next instrument is the trombone. Trombone is in the brass family, but it is one of the low brass instruments of the brass family. What's really cool about the trombone is instead of valves like the French horn and the trumpet, it actually has a slide, and it can slide longer and shorter. And when I lengthen the pipe of the instrument, I'm going to get a lower sound, And when I shorten the instrument, I get a higher sound, and that's how I control the pitch of my instrument. Just like the trumpet and the French horn, there's a metal mouthpiece, but this mouthpiece is quite a bit bigger. It is also cup-shaped, and I can buzz into it just like I do the trombone or the trumpet and the French horn. Notice how it's a lot lower? This is going to make a lot lower sound into the trombone. And that's the trombone. Our last instrument is the baritone, or sometimes called euphonium. This is the lowest instrument that we'll be playing in 6th grade. In 7th grade, you'll have the option of moving up to a tuba, which is quite a bit bigger. You'll notice that the euphonium, or baritone, has keys just like the trumpet or the French horn. There's only 3 of them, but don't think that makes it an easy instrument. Every instrument comes with its challenges. So baritone and euphonium also has a mouthpiece. In fact, they're almost the exact same, sometimes in some cases the exact same as a trombone mouthpiece. You'll notice they're a lot bigger than a French horn or a trumpet, and they're cup-shaped. And when I buzz into it, it sounds like this. It sounds really silly, but once you put it into the baritone or euphonium, it sounds really, really beautiful. And that is the baritone. But wait, Mrs. Barrett, what about percussion? Well, let me tell you. The way that percussion will happen this year is because the band class will be separated into 2 classes of brass and woodwind. We will be picking percussionists a little bit later in the year. So what we'll do is probably in about November, I will put out an application and you'll do that application. If you are accepted as a percussionist, you will have a primary instrument of your wind instrument and a secondary instrument of percussion. Once you move into 7th grade, you'll be primary percussion.